Well, hello everyone. It is time for, oh, I dropped something, our slightly overdue November update. So here we are, getting into what we've done. The first thing is in our YouTube channel, I've revamped a bunch of that stuff, and there is a new welcome video. Hi, I'm Craig, and there is a new onboarding playlist that takes the concepts we've talked about in the past and builds upon them and frames them in terms of our mission, vision, and method, and then talks about our specific strategies for translation, distribution, discipleship, and content. And that's complete, so that's great. Making sure I don't have any audio playing, because otherwise it's going to be in this recording. So we didn't, for those who subscribe to our monthly newsletter, first of all, thank you. And if you'd like to subscribe, I'll put a link in this video description below. We didn't reach full MVP status as we were hoping, but I will put a link below this video to our latest playable update. And we did reach MVP status if P does not stand for minimum viable product, but rather minimum viable prototype. And I'll start by showing that off here. This is going to be something that will improve very rapidly this month, as we basically have the improvements, most of the improvements we want to make to this already done, just not integrated. And so while there's still a lot more work to do, there is a lot we have already accomplished, and soon, right now, we're working on making this easy for our internal development team to extend and modify and improve. And then from there, long term, this will be something that will be easy for anyone, any developer or organization to modify, extend, and improve. So this is a minimum viable prototype, because here we have the 2D and the 3D page. Here we have our latest version of the Bible as a tray, which is highly performant. And here we have Genesis chapter 1. But I think, can I pick any book? I actually haven't even tried this before. Yeah, so now we have 2 Kings chapter 11 here, and there's a lot more that we need to do in terms of the formatting and headings and verse numbers. We've done all that stuff before, so this is just kind of a proof of concept. But every single word is rendered as a bot, as a game object, and this is our most performant and reliable version yet. I'm very excited about this, and this is going to enable all sorts of very wonderful interactions. And so here we have a version you can jump between the 2D version, the traditional view, the 3D version, and this is something that you can see your recent tabs, your history, you can add bookmarks, and then we have settings that we're working on making into all sorts of things, AI settings, text settings, and all the rest. And this is very much a work in progress still, but getting a lot farther along. And here you can see as well text settings of, I can change the fonts or the justification, the sizes, the heights, all sorts of stuff, and much more to come. So extremely happy with the progress we've made this month, and we have other stuff that we are in the process of finishing up and then redeveloping / integrating into this paradigm here. And I'll show off some of that stuff that is kind of in pieces here and there right now. So here we have an older version that we've been building functionality into while various people work on getting this ready to go. So here I have a version where I could do a tab in the canvas where I can do different kinds of experiences here, where I can put different data in different dimensions and have a Bible over here, go back to this tab, come back, and then so anyway, lots of stuff that we can do. But then we can also do a map tab, which is incredibly helpful. So here I can just pull up the map, and I can, in the future, we'll have all sorts of biblical experiences just as a part of this. I can view different terrain types and different all sorts of stuff. So this is going to just show as the foundation for a whole host of experiences. And this sort of tab structure is going to make its way into here, because this tab infrastructure can support all of these modes and more. And having one Bible that is going to be collaborative, that you can be in with multiple people in multiple structures, and you can explore different elements of it in 2D or in 3D. That is what we are going to have a version of done this month. Well, we have a version of it done right now, but it's not quite where we want it to be. So a lot more improvements to come. The other thing we've been working on building out is... Actually, I should restart this experience because I want to show off something else. Here we go. So I want to show off some of the user presence stuff we've been prototyping this last month. I'll be the purple user over here, and I'll be the blue user over here. And we can see user presence in both the map portal and in the stack on both devices, for both users at the same time. So here, if I click on, well, let's go to Revelation, the last book of the Bible. So by clicking on Revelation here, so in this user is in Revelation chapter 4. Over here, I see someone's hanging out in the New Testament. If I open up the New Testament, I can see the purple user is hanging out in Revelation. If I open up Revelation, oh, maybe. Do I hit a bug? Let's try resetting that. There we go. If I open up... Oh, okay, so we might have found a slight bug there. We're still perfecting that. But if you open up Revelation, then you'd see they are in there. Same story over here. I can see the purple user is here in Revelation. And as the blue user, I'll hop into Hebrews. And then over here, I can see the blue user is in Hebrews. And likewise, I can see someone's hanging out in the New Testament. And I can see someone's hanging out in the letters section. And specifically, I can see that someone is hanging out in Hebrews. The blue user is. And then we'll get it down to the chapter level where I can see what chapter people are in. And of course, this sort of functionality isn't something that everyone will use at all times, but just showing this user presence and prototyping how we want to develop and flesh this out is a really important part of our experience, and we have that done. We also have this working in the traditional Protestant layout of the Bible. We also have it working in, now I will just close, actually I'll just go full screen here. We have this working in the Protestant version of the Bible. We also have this working in the Hebrew version and the chronological versions here. So here if I go chronological, we deploy a stack chronological, and I'll deploy a map layout with the Hebrew arrangement. So here if I open up this, you can see the chronological Old Testament. You can see what books are color-coded based upon how they get categorized. So these 5 books in yellow are the Torah, and then this one is from the poetry section, which we have in green, which is Job. And you have a nice little chronological Bible there. And then likewise over here, we have a Hebrew version of the Old Testament that you can see is the Hebrew arrangement, which is the exact same books, but in a different order, which was the arrangement Jesus and his disciples used. And yeah, and we also have chronological versions of this as well. So we are finishing my goals for what I'm hoping to accomplish. We're so close to wrapping that up, which is to say visual representations of the Bible vertically with the Protestant, Hebrew, and chronological arrangements, and then visual arrangements of the Bible in a map layout like we have here in the Protestant, Hebrew, and chronological versions with shared user presence across everything, working in 2D and in 3D, and working with a tab-based internet paradigm that allows people to have something familiar that they can collaborate with others in. And it's not perfectly working by any means because everything is kind of built but in separate places, and we need to be able to combine all of this into one clean product. But the prototypes are coming along, and I will put the link to this version here below this video so you can try it for yourself if you want. This version itself is not collaborative, but the full version will be, and I expect we'll be able to tie this all together this month, give or take, and have this as something that we can get people trying in an MVP, minimum viable product format there will be bugs. This is going to be pre-alpha, but hopefully we'll have something very soon. And I'm pushing to see if we can get all this done this month. And we also have other obligations. We need to meet with some of our clients, and the clients that we work with are the ones that pay the bills that allow us to keep the lights on. So I can see some possible delays, but I'm going to push hard to see if we can get all this done this month. And if we can't, then I do think next month we can definitely wrap this up. But we'll see what we can accomplish. So that is the update for this month. What I would love help with is anyone to hop into the lab and help. If you are coming from a Christian background, and if you have a passion for teaching and for educating and for sourcing faith-based content, right now we have a lot of developers coming from Catholic and Muslim and Hindu and other backgrounds that are just beginning to learn about Christianity and are open to content. So I'm trying to do my best to personally teach and guide as best as I can, but I would love more Christians to hop in and help that effort out, because I'm just one man. And I'm not a particularly gifted teacher anyway. I feel like I know a lot of stuff, but I don't feel like I'm as good about getting it out of my head as I would like to be. Right now I'm talking through the basics of Christianity, Bible translation, key points of difference, and then I'm covering some topics that people have specifically asked about. And then after we get into these topics that people have talked about, we'll get back into the basics of Christian practice as defined by the New Testament. So a lot of stuff I'm working on there. We have a ton of tools and experiences we're going to quickly develop once we get these core foundations laid. One other fun thing we have been working on just as an experiment is a Minecraft type interface for the Bible as well. I suppose I should show that off. And this is sticking with our theme of experiences that make experiences, tools that make tools. This is designed to be a simple, familiar interface that younger generations and even older generations love. Anyone who's played Minecraft, one of those popular games in the world. And so here we have a type of experience where anyone can create their own material, use those materials to define recipes, and then determine what happens when someone unlocks that recipe. And so here I'll do grass, and I'll go pull up some images of grass. All right, so here's some grass. I'll grab the image address, throw that link in there, grass. So I've created a new material called grass. And now it's added to my material list here at the bottom, and I can define a recipe where I could say, hey, if you have a grass here, and a grass here, and then a stick here, and a stick here, somehow that's going to make a diamond egg. I don't know why, but in the future it could be all sorts of stuff. And you could do this to unlock sermon content, to unlock rewards if you're a parent trying to incentivize your kid to read the Bible, to use this as a foundation for making all sorts of games and interactive experiences. There's really an endless use of this. It's just how creative we want to be. And then over here, I've defined, I can define materials and recipes, and then now I can use that recipe. And then what we'll be able to do soon is say, hey, if you craft this recipe, add a code snippet of whatever you want to have happen next in the .aux file, which is the file format we use, which is just JSON, if you know what that means. If you don't know what that means, that's fine. Basically, what that means is that anyone can create a recipe that if someone crafts that recipe, it'll do whatever they program it to do. So now I can embed the materials we've created in the Bible. So, for example, in the book of Proverbs, I could say we're going to put 7 grass. And now if someone clicks on Proverbs, they should get 7 grass. And then they can use that enters their inventory, and then they can use that to craft new recipes. So this is just a prototype of something that we think would be fun, interactive, engaging, and familiar, and a great way to get kids of all ages to experience the Bible and then challenge their understanding. And where I want to go with this long term is not just to be collecting things from books or chapters, but even from words on the page. So you could say, hey, we could make an experience about Noah's Ark that you have to accomplish a learning objective of, you're 9 years old. I want you to read this passage of scripture. I want you to click on these words that match animals. And if you click on X animals, you'll gather X material. If you craft that material, like in Minecraft, it'll unlock this experience, and then suddenly you can go on that adventure. That sort of stuff becomes easy and possible. So a lot of ways we or others could use this, and our focus is just to make core tools and see how people use them. And these sorts of fun experiments, for now, are just prototypes, but long term they really can serve as the backbone for a number of very fascinating and interactive engagements. So a lot more to come as we work on things this month. And getting back to how you can get involved, we would love help creating biblical content. I have a number of topics in mind that I would love help from anyone who has a heart for getting people to experience the Bible. If you have a PhD or a degree, or if you're just a theology nerd or just a Bible nerd in general and you want to help create content, I would really value your time if you want to schedule some time with me, or just email me at craig@helloao.org. We do need as well to kick off some projects, creating and hosting, creating more GeoJSON file formats. And GeoJSON is what we use for showing different Bible locations. As you've seen in our past demos, like that would be like how if I can look up the location to Jerusalem and it zooms in on the map and then outlines it. That's GeoJSON. And help with funding, help spreading the word, help communicating what we're doing. All of that stuff is something I need a lot of help with, because I've been doing this for too long, and I'm kind of too close to it at this point to effectively create narratives that are going to be useful for someone coming at this brand new. So some wonderful people have reached out and have offered to help craft those narratives and possibly even fundraise for our organization, which is wonderful. So we will just see where that goes. But whoever you are, if you do feel the desire to check out our latest YouTube updates, here with our, not this one, here with our onboarding tour, if you feel at all compelled, if you haven't watched these types of onboarding things in the past, I really would encourage you to check them out and let us know what you think. Go ahead, if you think I can improve or do something better, just comment it right on the video and I'll probably just re-record that video. Your feedback is welcome. And if you haven't, please consider subscribing to our newsletter, which you can find at the bottom of our website, helloao.org. And of course, join our Discord community and get active there if you haven't as well. If you are a developer and you want to work on something, we would be happy to work on something or work towards each other. If you have a project, if you're working on any kind of Bible experience, it probably has a place inside of the roadmap of stuff that we're working on, and I would like to help you move what you're working on into a framework that can interoperate with what we're doing, but not only us, the global Christian community, using just standard web practices, using our framework, if it makes sense to do it. Not every project makes sense, but if it does, I would love to have that conversation with you as well. All right, if I've missed anything, if you have any questions or confusion, or you need any help, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you. I hope this has been a worthwhile monthly update, and more to come very soon. And if you want the latest and greatest, just hop into the lab, because that's where we work every single day. Thank you, and God bless.